Hello Sagittarius, welcome to your November 2022 tarot card reading and astrology horoscope. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Jane, just to quickly introduce myself. So we are moving officially into November of 2022. October was an incredibly eventful month, and now that we are making a transition into November, after the eclipse on November 8th, things should start to sort of subside a little bit. Now for these readings, like we did last month, I have two different segments. The first segment is going to be a tarot card reading, which is purely intuitive, and the second segment is going to be an astrological horoscope. Thank you all so much for the amazing feedback that I received last month on those as well. And some people like to watch the astrology portion first. So if that's you, then you can absolutely click on that timestamp down below, and then you can go back and watch the tarot card portion after if you prefer. Now you can watch these readings for your sun, moon, or rising sign, although just know that the rising sign is going to be a little bit more accurate in terms of all the house placements of the transits. Timestamps for each segment will be found in the description box and the comment thread down below for easy access. And also down below in the description box and comment thread, there will be information regarding how to access the comprehensive readings. So let's go ahead and get into this for the month. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you in just a sec. Hello Sagittarius, welcome to your November 2022 tarot card reading. So I'm starting just a little, first of all, happy birthday to all of the November Sagittarians out there. I hope you guys get to do something super fun and awesome for your special day. So I'm starting off just a little different than how I normally do. So I'm going to pull just a really intuitive card, okay? A card that is just here to trigger me, the reader, into a connection with your energy. Okay. Feeling a really strong vibration, meaning you likely won't be able to help but do something, right? Like you can't help yourself. You must go do something. It's almost as though as we make our way into November and we're smack dab in the middle of eclipse season, the moon is waxing into that full moon eclipse position, which is conjunct Uranus, which is in your 6th house, which is a highly active house. And it does have a lot to do with the things that you need to do. And so I feel that Sagittarius is feeling a sense of urgency to accomplish and to finish and to just like keep that ball rolling and to get it rolling as fast as you can, as quickly as you can, right? But I feel a lot of success for Sagittarius in this as well. So I don't necessarily know that I don't think that there may be challenges, right? There may be some obstacles that you have to overcome, but I don't necessarily think that this is going to work out poorly. I think the opposite. I think it's going to work out very well. But it is something that you are needing to do on your own. It's something that you're needing to, for your own sake, right? For your own mental health, for your own sense of stability, for your own sense of self-reliance. This is something that you need to do. And I don't know that you're going to be very willing to accept help from other people right now, mostly because I don't think most people are really matching you vibrationally right now. And they may not have the passion for the tasks. You know, they may not have the devotion to the goal that you have. And I think you're okay with that. I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing. In fact, maybe it's preferable because when you travel solo, you can go a lot further faster sometimes, right? Sometimes it's more advantageous to have people, but other times it's advantageous to be on your own. And I think right now it is advantageous to be on your own. This is regardless of marital status. This is regardless of, your work environment. This is just something that you have to do for yourself. And like I said, I see a lot of success. I see something shining. I see recognition. I see reward. I see people paying attention to you and giving you what you need to feel validated in this particular path. And sometimes we do need that validation, right? Sometimes we use that word as like though it's an ugly word, but I mean, it can turn into an ugly thing in our life sometimes, but sometimes it's great to receive the validation that what you are doing and producing and the actions that you're taking are valuable and helpful and actually making a positive difference. And I think right now you're on the path. Maybe you won't receive that this month specifically, but you are on the path to receiving that validation. Now, normally I pull out a card that signifies what the universe needs from you. And it's a court card, meaning a king, a queen, a page, or a knight. But with the Scorpio reading, I accidentally pulled out a major arcana. I accidentally flip-flopped them. So I'm just going to keep that going for the month of November. So for your energy and what the universe needs from you, we're going to pull out a major arcana. So what does the universe need from Sagittarius? We have the Emperor. Excellent. This is that ambition and that determination. Now, this is actually a card of Aries. All right. So that's important because Aries is very much about the individual self. And especially as the sun makes its way into Sagittarius on the 22nd of November, right? We're going to have Mercury and Venus coming into Sagittarius on the 16th and 17th. And then sun is going to follow on the 22nd. And then the very next day on the 23rd, we're going to have a new moon in Sagittarius at 1 degree. Okay. So there is that energy with the sun in the first house that you are needing to shine and live in your light simply for yourself. Other people can benefit from that, absolutely. Other people can have positive experiences because of your state of alignment, of course. But it's not really about that. It's about you feeling good about what you're doing and you feeling, really connected to your own life. And feeling like you're living a life that is fulfilled and purposeful. When an emperor comes out, there's always a state of purpose, a meaning behind things. It's not, you're just not doing things because you have to. You're not just doing things. And that's the thing so this full moon eclipse that's happening in Taurus on November 8th, that's in your 6th house. 6th house is a pretty karmic house, and it does have a lot to do with the things that you cannot escape doing. It is a really active house, and the things that you can't escape doing, like waking up and brushing your teeth, like that's something you have to do. That's why our daily habits are so intrinsically connected with that 6th house. So you're not going to be able to escape the things that must be done for yourself. But I also know that you are going to feel a sense of pride and honor in doing those things, which is really good. That it's, that it's leading somewhere, that it's building up to something, that it's not just some kind of a meaningless thing, right? It's like, let's even use our diet as an example, right? If you wake up every morning and are really, really conscious about what you eat, you know that it's not because it's just because of what you need right now. It's for overall long-term health, so that when you are 90 years old, you may, and this is not a guarantee, but there's a greater chance that you may evade certain illnesses and problems, right? So there's a long-term meaning, a long-term purpose. So in the environment, we have the Page of Wands, which signifies the energy of other people. Now, an emperor versus a Page of Wands is a stark contrast, right? This is not a very good match, if I'm being totally honest with you. All right. So we do have Mars in retrograde now as of October 30th in your 7th house, right? That's in Gemini, opposite of you. So Mars going retrograde in that 7th house now, it does seem that maybe other people are going to have, their own set of challenges. I saw this for Scorpio as well. It kind of seems like maybe people in your life are needing to go their own path. When the sun comes into your sign and Mars is in the other person's sign, or this house opposite of you, it can have, like a pulling away effect. It's very difficult for Mars and the Sun to really integrate right now. So your partners, your other people, your employers, people that you are contractually obligated to, they may be needing to go a different path than you. This is confirming the intuitive feeling that I was feeling here. But I don't know. I don't know that they're doing so well. And I think that's hard. You may see them struggling maybe with their sense of purpose. You may see them struggling financially. You may see them struggling with their own sense of self-worth. They may not be handling the eclipses very well. They may not be harnessing the energy and the power right now. They may be feeling more codependent rather than independent. They may be feeling more weak rather than strong. And again, I don't know that there's anything that you can do specifically to help them. And I don't know that that's even necessarily your job right now. Obviously, if it's a spouse or someone you're married to or in a deep, meaningful connection with, of course, you want to help. You want to be available. You want to be present for that person, of course. But you also need to let them go through it because it is a growth opportunity for them. You can be emotionally supportive without being codependent or enabling. All right. And I think them being at the page level, they are starting new and fresh with something, and they may be embarking upon a new venture that feels very scary, where I think you're a little bit more comfortable with where you're at. You're a little bit more confident with your purpose and your vision, and they may not have that as strongly as you do. All right, so a little compassion can go a long way, but I definitely don't want to see Sagittarius crossing the line into kind of a boundaryless realm. It's very important for you to maintain your autonomy, which the Sun coming through that first house is going to support. All right, so let's go ahead and pull out the 9 cards for the 9-card block. We have the Knight of Coins, the 9 of Swords, and the 4 of Wands. So that 9 of Swords, actually, hold on just one second. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I can't see the camera, so sometimes I don't lay these out very straight. So the 9 of Swords in the very center here, there is this quality of being bound. There's a quality of, again, having your hands tied, as we can see very clearly in this image. And a lot of that is mental. But I do see Sagittarius being determined to break free from their own mental issues. All right. So what I mean by that, we've got this new moon eclipse. This is not technically in November. It's on October 25th. October 25th, we have a new moon eclipse in Scorpio in your 12th house. 12th house is deeply rooted to our, deeply connected rather with our subconscious world and the things that are hidden within us. And these swords may be hidden. I don't know. At Sagittarius, to me, like, I don't ever see you shy away from working on yourself. I feel like you're one of the signs that is very open about embracing their own personal growth and development. So I guess it depends on the evolution of the Sagittarius and whatnot. It depends on how scared they are or not. But generally, because you are a sign of expanded consciousness, you don't tend to shy away from the things that you need to work on or the things that are lurking in the shadows, right? You kind of approach those things as being something that may be hard and challenging, but it is also a part of the adventure. And you have the capacity of depth to deal with that, of emotional intelligence to really deal with that. I'm not just sitting here trying to stroke your ego. It's a part of the archetype. You've got Scorpio in the 12th house. I say it all the time. Or you've got Cancer in the 8th house. You've got Pisces in the 4th. Like, you can handle these watery things well. And while there may be certain things lurking in the deep, dark corners of your psyche, they also are, I mean, you seem pretty good and stable, Four of Wands, and with the Knight of Coins as well. I feel a sturdiness and a strength with Sagittarius right now. You seem to be the rock, and maybe other people are trying to depend on you and relying upon you. It may be your partner, and there may be some confusion here with this external world card, right? Whoever this may be. It's like they want to go their own way, but they're also really dependent on you, and they know how important you are in their life, how valuable you are in their life. It's almost as though it's like a little child who's, 7 years old, like, I'm going to run away from home, and they pack a suitcase, and then they go to the end of the street, and then they realize, oh, wait, I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have a place to live. I don't have any money. I don't have any food. So then they just kind of come back, right? It's kind of the feeling that I'm getting. There's a little sort of adolescent rebellion going on here, but at the end of the day, the Emperor, everyone always comes back to the Emperor because it's so solid and secure. They feel safe with the Emperor. And that Knight of Coins, like, you're willing to do what needs to be done. You're willing to get your hands dirty. You're willing to make non-judgmental assessments about what you're going through. You're really approaching things from a non-emotional or unemotional, rather, more logical and rational perspective and mindset. You're not wanting to get overly... I'm hearing like drowning. That's the word that's coming to my mind. Like, I don't see you drowning in emotion. You're not drowning in your Nine of Swords. You're just observing the Nine of Swords. Observing the places where you need to untie yourself. So we have the Eight of Cups. Beautiful. Have the Six of Coins, and that one clearly wanted to come out as well. The Page of Coins. I like the coins because they are not haphazard. Coins, as we know, the earth element is the slowest moving element, and it is more methodical in nature. It knows that it can only do one step at a time, so that's all it tries to do. It only does one step at a time. It doesn't try to eat the elephant all at once. It just takes one bite at a time, right? So with the Eight of Cups that there is something you need to leave behind. And what's interesting in this particular artwork, how this man is looking up to the moon, and that is absolutely connecting to the Nine of Swords. We can see that trajectory very clearly here. So here's the guy in this card looking up to celestial. And we have the moon here in this card, which is so beautiful given the fact that we are in eclipse season and this is such a moon thing, right? The moon is so involved here. So here he is looking to the moon, and the moon is revealing the Nine of Swords, which is all the places that you are tied up and unable to move and unable to... it's not even about being unable. I'm sorry, that's definitely not the right word to use. It's not that you are unable, it's that maybe you didn't even know. You didn't even know that this Nine of Swords was even there. You didn't know that it was really holding you back. You didn't realize that there was a fear, and you may have written it off as like, oh, I just don't like that, or oh, I just don't want that. But in actuality, maybe you very much do want it, but you were just telling yourself that because then you didn't have to deal with the complications of the learning curve that is required in order to get it. But you're certainly leaving that behind. That's not something an emperor would allow to continue once he becomes aware of it. All right, once you become aware of it, you have to deal with it and move on from it. And it's not about condemning an aspect of yourself. It's It's not about condemning or punishing or shaming yourself. This is about embracing the fact that this is present. And because Scorpio is involved, we are all having to connect with our shadowy sides in some way, shape, or form. Any areas of denial. And again, these may be like areas of denial that we didn't even know we held. Right? And that's a hard thing sometimes. It's like, wow, I was in denial, I was suppressing, I was rejecting something, and I didn't even know it. Like, it was so in disguise. It was wearing this mask, and I didn't recognize it. I didn't see through it. And so now it's revealing itself as wearing a mask, and you get to do something about it so that you can become more empowered in this area. So with the Six of Coins, things are balancing out, because a Nine of Swords can only sustain for so long. It can't be a permanent thing. It needs to rear its head at some point. It needs to reveal itself, because anything that is hidden must eventually be seen, because it is a part of the truth, right? And the truth always is like the great equalizer, and equal is a law, is like a natural law, the law of balance. Everything must be balanced. So the scales were a little too weighted for too long. So now it's exposed, and now you have an opportunity to reach a new degree of equilibrium in your life and in your mind, which means that you are opening the door for greater levels of abundance and prosperity. Because it's not there anymore, or it's not going to be there. You're going to work through it. Like I said at the beginning, this is a path that only you can be on. This is one of the reasons why there's a little bit of separation for Sagittarius right now. You have to do your thing, because yours is important. Yours is serious, and it's getting in the way of your mission. It's getting in the way of what you want to accomplish in your life. And this person, they have their own thing, but you're definitely vibrating much higher. You know, and that's maybe why it had to be revealed at this time. The vibration got too high, and so you no longer can hold on to a lower vibration. It's like physically impossible. So with the Page of Coins, now it's not going to be a fast overnight process, although it could be with Uranus involved with this full moon eclipse on November 8th. It could be fast. I actually think it's going to be more in line with Jupiter, your ruling planet, moving direct again on November 23rd, which is the same day as the new moon in Sagittarius. So I kind of have my eyes more on Sagittarius season for Sagittarius. All right. We also have Neptune moving direct as well on December 3rd. I know it's not November, but December 3rd. So Neptune is really, really slow near the latter part of November as well. So we kind of have some transitions going on, more planets moving direct, which means the chaos of the retrograde season can finally subside. Let's see what else comes out for Sagittarius for November. What else does Sagittarius need to know for November? Okay, 8 of Coins, 10 of Cups, exactly. Five of Swords. Interesting to have 5 of Swords and the 10 of Cups. Hold on one second. Let me check my camera again. Okay, I guess it's okay. From what I can tell, it's okay. 5 of Swords and 9 of Swords. This is maybe something that, is creating, it's starting to create a lot of stress and anxiety. And then here is a lot of the doubt. Now, this may be rooted in something with this connection with this Page of Wands, which is an external influence, okay? Sometimes with that 5 of Swords, I often call it my card of self-sabotage, similar to the 7 of Swords, I say that about as well. But more so, it's about like trying to win a fight that is not worth winning. It's like making a sacrifice for something that can't ever pay you back. And I don't mean that in like in a good way. Is it like it's like winning an argument and then being a sour winner, being like nasty about it. It doesn't bring that good karma. It doesn't bring good things into your life. And it's just kind of something that maybe we continually do just out of habit, or it's something that we continually do because it's something that we know and it's familiar, but it doesn't necessarily bear any fruit. And so if there are any tendencies to be codependent or to enable within this Page of Wands situation, this is a time when I think Sagittarius pumps the brakes real hard, right? Or rather slams on the brakes real hard and says, no, we definitely cannot do this anymore. We're not going about doing it this way. This has to change. It's one thing I love about mutable signs is they are so capable of implementing change in their lives. They have a lot of willingness to adapt to what is now being called of them versus what was being called of them. There's not so much rigidity. And with the North Node conjunct Uranus, we are all getting out of our own way in some way, shape, or form right now. And so I think, this may be a temptation, but because the Emperor is coming out, this may be, right, that very warrior-like, determined, ambitious energy to help you overcome the temptation of reverting back into something that was normalized, that is simply not helpful, okay? And I see you choosing to not fight when a fight may come up. I see you choosing not to engage in toxic behavior. I see you maturing and growing and evolving and forcing other people to come up to your level. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to stroke your ego saying you're perfect and you're not doing anything wrong. Although I do think you're willing to try to be in that position, right? To be the one that's not doing anything wrong and to be the one that's not creating the problems and to be the more mature one, and you may have played games in the past or you may have had certain things in the past. And I just don't think that you're allowing yourself to get a pass. You're not even giving yourself a pass right now, let alone anybody else. And this is good, right? 8 of coins, like again, with all the Knight of coins, the Page of coins, the 8 of coins, here she is doing the work. She's focused, she's good, she's skilled. Like there's nothing here that tells me that you don't know what you're doing. I'd say the opposite. I think Sagittarius knows exactly what they're doing. Moving forward with a degree of intelligence, both emotional and just general intelligence, spiritual intelligence, all of it. You're moving forward with a really good head on your shoulders. And 10 of Cups, you have something that you're aiming towards. And maybe that's the thing with this other person is they don't know what they're aiming for. They don't know how to set a direction in their life. And maybe you have compassion for that because maybe that was you in the past. That's a common immutable energy thing. Because mutable being very double-bodied and being kind of more on the more chaotic side, but that's not the energy you're embodying right now. Right now, you're embodying a more focused, structured energy. And the 10 of Cups is where you want to go. And you see clearly how you've held yourself back now. But maybe one of the reasons why this was able to continue to fester in your subconscious was because this goal wasn't truly defined. Maybe you were telling yourself you wanted one thing, but in actuality, you didn't. Like I use this example once in a while. I have a very good friend. He was a Sagittarius, super playboy type of guy. Like a really nice person, but he just was not really willing to settle. And, he got a girlfriend and she was like this great girl. And he kept cheating on her. But then he broke up with her finally, saying like, look, I can't, like, you're too good of a person. I can't keep, I don't trust myself. I can't keep doing this, and you deserve so much better. And she did, right? She definitely deserved better than that. And so they broke up, and then he went out and started dating a lot. And he was like, well, wait a second. I'm not getting the happiness that I used to get. So he was sort of trapped somewhere between wanting a committed monogamous relationship and wanting to still be a playboy kind of guy. Neither was really bringing him happiness, but I think he was growing into wanting something more real and certainly more challenging, right? Because having a monogamous, committed, faithful relationship would have been very hard for him. But it also would force him to be a better person and to treat someone with respect, right? So it's like you didn't know what that goal really was because you were so focused on the Playboy things. And I'm not saying you're like Playboy people. I'm just using that as an example, as a visual, right? Because you thought that's what you wanted. But that may have been what you wanted like 15 years ago. You know, that may have been good enough back then, but it's not good enough now. And so this goal is now being completely redefined, and it may be the very thing that you didn't even think you wanted. You know, and that's okay. It's okay for you to change direction. It's okay for you to, you know, admit that to yourself. That's why this is coming up. It's like what you wanted all along. What you desired all along, what you were actually really going after all along. And yet, for cultural reasons, societal reasons, familial reasons, educational, institutional reasons, right, whatever it is, you pushed against it. You know, and I don't know what that is for you. I think each Sagittarius is going to have their own thing, but this is becoming more and more clear, and you're becoming more comfortable with wanting that. You're becoming more comfortable asking for it. You're becoming more comfortable with changing into the person that has that. And that may mean you need to leave certain people behind. And I think this Page of Wands may be someone that, you know, again, they don't have the same determination for this goal that you do. You know, and so there is back to back, both each looking in opposite directions here. That's not an accident. I don't think the tarot gives me accidents. Okay, you're looking in different directions. So all you got to do is keep your eyes on your goal for yourself right now, because the 10 of Cups is so worth it. Whatever the sacrifice needs to be, it will be worth it. Okay? So let's go ahead and pull out the clarifiers. So for those of you who are new to my channel, I normally do like a little spiel here, but instead I'm just going to go ahead and tell you to take a look at the description box and the comment thread down below. The cards I'm about to pull out are the cards we cover in the comprehensive reading, where we talk for another 25 to 30 minutes-ish approximately. And all that information on how to access that is down below. So let's clarify this Emperor. What else does Sagittarius need to know about the Emperor card? Okay, so we have the Hermit reversed, the Three of Swords reversed. And we have the Star, beautiful. And now for the Page of Wands, which is the environment. So what else does Sagittarius need to know about their environment for November? Okay, Six of Wands reversed. My candle burned out. So we have the Fool reverse, a lot of reversals. And the Seven of Coins reversed. Okay, so now we're going to clarify the 9-card block. 1 second. Starting with the Knight of Coins. Ten of Swords reversed. That's a good omen. Ten of Coins. Oh, stop it. I love the Ten of Coins with the Ten of Cups. That's amazing. That's what it's all about. The best of both worlds, both spiritual and emotional, and also material. An Ace of Wands. Excellent. Now for this Nine of Swords. Okay, so we got the Queen of Swords reversed. Hold on. There we go. Queen of Swords reversed. What else for the Nine of Swords? Beautiful. Four of Swords. Three of Wands. Amazing. Nine of Swords is not bad. It's coming out for a very specific reason. Well, there's another Nine of Swords. Strength. It's coming out so it doesn't continue. See, exactly, death. It's coming out so it doesn't continue to have an influence in your life. Two of Wands reversed. The Sun. Three of Coins. I feel like you've been holding off on something. There's an Eight of Cups reversed now. I feel like you've been holding off on building and designing and executing on something, not because you didn't think you really wanted it or deserved it, but because you kept feeling like it wasn't time or that you weren't ready. You weren't willing to make the sacrifice that was needed. Five of Swords reversed, so we have that here as well. Queen of Cups. Nine of Coins. The Moon. Two of Cups reversed. Lovers reversed. Oh, sorry, there's a bug. Hold on. Flying in my face. I think it was biting my ankles last night. I got all these bug bites last night. Like mosquito bites. Queen of Coins. Three of Cups. Okay, well, I didn't mean to pull out two, but I did. King of Wands reverse and the Knight of Cups. Last but not least, we have the Five of Swords. So what else does Sagittarius need to know about the Five of Swords? Justice. And the Star, this time reversed. Okay, so this is where we're going to pick up in the comprehensive reading. So again, if you want to join, all of the information is down below in the description box in the comment thread. Thank you all so much. You know how much I love and adore you. Have a fantastic month of November. And again, happy birthday to all the November Sagittarians out there. And I'll talk to you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello Sagittarius, welcome to the astrological horoscope portion of this reading for November 2022. So let's go ahead and delve into this chart. So I have this clock set for November 1st. All right, so we have to remember though that on October 25th, we have a new moon eclipse in Scorpio, which is your 12th house. And then on November 8th, we're gonna have a full moon eclipse in Taurus, 6th house, conjunct Uranus. All right, so for Sagittarius specifically, 12th house, 6th house, I mean, these are really challenging houses. You know, I think we often talk about how difficult, you know, the 8th house is, and the 10th house can be a really challenging house as well. But 6th and 12th are also very karmic. So this is a time when Sagittarius gets to truly ask themselves what it is. Now, there's a lot of healing that happens in these houses. But I think for you guys, because Scorpio is involved, Healing is going to happen through both eliminating something, so sacrificing something through the new moon. And in a way, right, the new moon is the initiation of a creative cycle. And that's great. That's wonderful, right? We love creative cycles, but it's like creating through destruction, being in the first decan of Scorpio. So we create through elimination. We create through deconstruction, right? Because we need to clear that path for ourselves. So when it's 12th house is involved, there is often loss and sacrifice, or isolation, or something that needs to happen in order for the creation, which is what Taurus is all about, right? Taurus is more consuming, where Scorpio is more about eliminating. And so now we get to really create and partake of life experiences with that full moon eclipse. Now, being in the 6th house and 12th house, again, physical and spiritual healing are absolutely on the docket for you. So if you do have any illness that you're dealing with, this is going to be a time to be hyper focused on those things and to ensure that you are doing the right things for your body. And maybe there may be a new method for healing that comes online for you. So be prepared to open yourself up to new possibilities of healing. Okay, that could be physical healing or emotional, psychological, whatever it is. There is also a component. Now, 6th house is an interesting house too, because there's a lot of hyper independence that comes through, especially with Taurus ruling the 6th house. So I think Sagittarius is in this position where there's like a lot going on in terms of you, yourself, and you, right? It's like me, myself, and I, Sagittarius, and them. And what I'm doing may not necessarily be compatible with what they are doing. And I think Sagittarius right now is also really wanting to have that autonomy. They're wanting to have their freedom to a degree. With Mars being in the 7th house for a really long time, there has been an accentuation on your other person. It's like your other person may be going through certain challenges, or there may be a lot of, action on their end, or some things that they're needing to take care of. And you may be in the supportive mode for them. But right now, especially when the Sun, Venus, and Mercury come into Sagittarius near the end of the month, Venus and Mercury coming in on the 16th and 17th respectively, and the Sun coming in on the 22nd of November. And then we're immediately going to go into a new moon in Sagittarius on the 23rd. So as soon as the Sun comes in, the next day we have a new moon. So when Sagittarius season does hit on the 22nd, there is going to be kind of this shift of focus back onto Sagittarius. And your partner may feel maybe relieved, maybe they feel good about being in the more supportive role. Maybe they feel good about, not having so much pressure on their own shoulders, or whatever the case is. And so this may actually help certain relationships. But if you are in a partnership, now it doesn't have to be a romantic partnership. It could honestly be any kind of a one-on-one type of connection that you have, especially if there's any sort of legally bound situation, like a business partnership, shared assets, contracts, whatever it is. But if you have a shaky relationship, okay, if there's problems, especially if it's a working relationship, seeing as how a very work-oriented house, the 6th house, is going to be the host of a full moon total solar eclipse. So if it's a working relationship, this will be especially relevant. If it's shaky, the partner or the other person may exhibit a little jealousy, or they may try to grab attention. There could be a little bit of a power struggle. Because when the sun and Mars are in opposition from one another, that can be highly contentious sometimes. Not always. I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen to you, but it's just with the retrograde going on, there's still a lot of attention on that 7th house. All right, so really relating to another person will likely be a highlight. And with Jupiter, who officially retrograded back into Pisces in October, now on November 1st, sitting at 29 degrees of Pisces, and it's going to go direct at 28 degrees. So it's basically really slow. All right, so when it goes direct on the 23rd, we may start to notice a little bit more, but I think Sagittarius is, with all the 12th house activation, with Jupiter now officially back in Pisces, I think Sagittarius is really needing a couple of weeks to just be in their private world. They're needing to be on their own. Maybe some of you may be traveling by yourself, maybe some solo travel. You may be doing something that doesn't involve another person because you genuinely need this alone time. And you may be self-isolating to a degree just for the sake of your own mental stability and mental health, which I think is totally fine. Pisces calls for that, 4th house calls for that, Scorpio and 12th house also call for that. So if that's what you need to do, then that's what you need to do. Perfectly fine and perfectly understandable. We also have Pluto and Saturn now officially going direct. And as they move direct, we are starting to feel the new kind of era coming online as Pluto approaches Aquarius for the first time in like 248 years, right? Basically 250 years. And while there will be a little bit of fluctuation for the next couple of years between Aquarius and Capricorn, technically speaking, we have reached the end of the era. So you may notice some financial themes coming out as well, probably and hopefully for the better. So if you have struggled financially at all, if you have had to reinvent yourself financially over and over, like if you had a couple of crashes and burns financially over the past couple of years, chances are you've learned enough and acquired enough wisdom at this point to now actually implement all the lessons and do very well and actually succeed in your life. Okay. So this is a very exciting transit. I think a Pluto in the 2nd house is really hard, especially even when you already have a Saturn ruled 2nd house. That's kind of hard enough, but to have Pluto in there too, it's very challenging. So I think there could be a lot of gratitude at this point that this is finally like leaving, finally leaving. And then of course Saturn is going to make its way into Pisces, but for now it's still in the 3rd house, and Pluto is still in the 2nd house. It's not officially over yet, but I think we can start feeling that things are coming online. Okay. One of the big words that I'm using for November because of the full moon conjunct Uranus is the word reform. Okay. The past few months, we've had to really learn some of the themes that came out, right? We had to integrate throughout Libra season, throughout Virgo season. We really had to prepare throughout Leo season. We had to have faith that our ideas and our creations would ultimately end up being lucrative, right? That was a word I used a lot. And this is about reform. So we are in this process of we're not completely tearing things apart here, okay? As much as we would love to attribute Uranus to complete anarchy, it's just simply not the case. He's not stupid, okay? I think going and completely ripping apart everything would be a really stupid idea. This is not about ripping everything apart and tearing it to the ground and completely starting from scratch. You've already done so much. This is about taking what works, right? Taking the systems in your life that are doing well for you and building upon those while eliminating the ones that simply don't, right? So like, let's say you have certain habits, and of course with the sixth house, there's a lot of it's really hard in that sixth house to escape the day-to-day life. All right. So like there are just things we have to do. Like we have to wake up and take a shower. We have to cook ourselves food, or we have to eat. We have to exercise. We have to have some kind of a schedule. There are certain things that we just have to have. Like we have to pay our bills and all of that. Right. So maybe there's a little bit of an emphasis on that. How do I simplify the aspects of life that I cannot escape? Okay. And how do I streamline? How do I systematize? How do I automate those things? Can I use technology? Can I outsource something? Can I hire someone to do something so that I can more focus on the things that I truly care about? I don't know, like unless you have Sagittarius in the sixth house, I don't think sixth house and Sagittarius are the most compatible. Unless you have a lot of sixth house energy in your natal chart. And I don't even want to say or Virgo, because they're really two different things. The houses and the signs, I think in modern astrology, we link those things together a little too much. But sixth house and Virgo is different. If you have sixth house placements, it will be a little bit more exciting, and you'll be a little bit happier about integrating these new methods of living your life. But if not, these are probably things that you really don't want to have to deal with. But because there's this huge, massive eclipse, you cannot escape it. So, there could also be some, like if you have any contentious relationships with people, a lot of enemies come out through the seventh and sixth houses. And I know enemies is a really harsh word, but any adversarial relationships, those will likely also be accentuated for the sake of reformation, okay, to reform those relationships to some degree. Probably not eliminate, but to change them so they can be more useful and more productive. All right? Okay. All right, Sagittarius, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. You guys know how much I love and adore you. Have a fantastic month, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.